welcome once again to my channel. This is going to be really short, and this is my conclusion after we had that live chat with WODEMAYA and Franklin. And they say, how are we going to move forward as Africans? Are we ready for the next level? How are we going to get to the next level? And my simple answer to all of these is that Africa is not ready. But hold on, you and I are ready, and that is enough. That is enough. I say Africa is not ready because, man, I don't know, but really, if you can think about it and you can really look into a lot of African countries, you can clearly see that we never really gained independence. You can clearly see that these Western people have their hands deep inside our stuff. Anyway, before I move forward, I want to introduce myself for if it's your first time here or you've just seen my videos. My name is Doreen and I live in the US with my husband. And we moved to the US from South Africa after they refused to give my husband an extended contract in his workplace because he was not South African. And all of the things that were going on there in relation to foreigners, we had to think about another place to go. Your question probably is, why didn't we go to Nigeria? That is also because we couldn't secure any job there. So, well, that is not, we will talk about that another time. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a brief about who I am. And I do this video just to change the narrative about who we are as Africans and the fact that we are really coming. I hear a lot of people saying that we are coming and we are coming for everything. Well, I am not coming for everything, but we are definitely coming. I say I'm not coming for everything because there are still tables that if you invite me to, I'm not gonna dine there. There are still big pharma and his stuff. If you invite me to those kind of tables, I am not going to go because these are things that are being used to oppress us. And so anyway, let's go quick into it. So what are the things we can do? Number one, we have to take our education into our hands. We have to start teaching our kids what we want them to know. And I have my kids at home. I'm gonna homeschool them. Right now, my oldest is being taught from home, and I have no plans of taking her to a regular school. And I know not all of us can do this, but you can still be actively involved in your child's education. Whatever they bring home, have an influence in their education, a big influence in their education. Watch what they are learning at school. Make sure that you are modifying it and you are teaching them truth. Now, you can't just leave your children in the hands of the oppressor's curriculum, because then they are going to end up the same things that we are nagging about, the same things that we are crying about. So you have to be in charge of your education, of your children's education. If you can homeschool them, do it. Do it, because nobody is going to teach them what you want to teach them. Another thing we need to do is to have media that supports us. Like I said, a lot of these things have been bought out by Western people. They are being sponsored by Western people. And so they cannot really put out the big picture, the real picture out there. A lot of statistics are biased. Even photography, sometimes it's biased to just bring out a certain thing. So we need to have the right media, and people, it looks big, but we start here. Here we are. This is a good platform, and that is why I am begging you, please subscribe to my channel. Even if you do not like everything about my approach, subscribe so that we can reach more people. You know how we are as Africans. We only want to hear someone if they have a big following or they look a certain way. So support my channel. We're gonna get there, but it's baby steps. So we need to have a voice out there. We need to have media that supports us. So one day, who knows, we're going to have WODEMAYA's radio station. We don't know, but we can start here. So support my channel. If you see a brother or a sister trying to add their voice to this fight, please subscribe and support them. Another thing we need to do, we need to learn to feed ourselves. Enough of the importation of junk from China and all these people. I'm telling you, I know people who are back home who are eating foods overseas that I will never eat. Poison. And because they can afford it, they bring these things and they eat them. We have to learn to grow our own food. And I know I've heard so much. I looked into agriculture. I don't think I'm just talking about these things without researching. I learned it's so hard to farm in Ghana because of lack of support. But let's try so that we do not lose the skills. I can tell you backstory. My grandfather was a great farmer, but right now I do not have any skills, because you know what they did? They told them, take your kids to school, and they were rushing taking their kids to school, and nobody was taught the skills that they have. Even right now, somewhere in Africa, a parent is probably pushing their child to read and say, oh, don't come to my carpentry shop. I want you to read that book. I want you to be a doctor. And we are missing out on passing down skills to our children. Learning is not one way. Just your child helping in your house chores, your child going around the house with you, hearing you read, hearing you do this, do that, seeing you doing stuff is a way of learning. And so we must make sure that we are passing skills down to our kids. We are teaching them a lot of these things. So we need to learn how to feed ourselves and stop importing all this junk. Things that they won't even use here, they will import it to us. We need to maintain those skills. I do not have any skills. I'm learning them now. Like I said, it's not too late. You can learn. But as an African, with all the things that we've been through, I shouldn't have been sitting here not having any skills. So those are areas that we can look at too. And then the last thing I'm going to say, and I keep on stressing this, is our health. It's our health. It's our health. We need to start looking into our herbs. We need to start looking into our foods. We need to start looking into the things that we put in our body, because what they do is come with antidotes which has side effects to make us continue being dependent on them. So how are we going to do this? Right now we don't have the power. What they normally use against people is, oh, where is the research to prove that lemon is good for you? Oh, do you know the side effects of turmeric? But they have been giving us, poisoning us with paracetamol and Tylenol that affects our kidney in the long run, and they never questioned it. But now we want to eat natural stuff, and all of a sudden they are thinking about side effect. So we have to start looking into these things. We have to start creating folders of research. They will never accept our research, because guess what? They are the ones who own those laboratories. They own those doctors and all that. So for you to even get to the point of your research being accepted, it's hard. But like I said, we can start somewhere, and with one voice behind one thing, we can put it out there. So we need to really look at sectors. We have to stop accumulating unnecessary things, you know. For me to stay home, we had to do away with so many things, you know. And I'm like, man, I just want to travel, or I want to afford this luxury. But my children, they are the future. And I think that is the most important thing. So sometimes we have to sacrifice some things, and they're not even important anyway. You know what they did to us is to put us on this survival thing, that, you know, you just have this endless thing, because they deprived us so much that now we just want to accumulate things to show. So we don't really think about, okay, this thing that I want, is it really necessary? I'm not saying don't have fun stuff or stuff like that. Some people can do both. Some people can still have fun, travel, and still have extra money too. But if you are like me, that you don't have that extra, then you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. But I'm at a level that, you know what, even if I have the money in the world, I'm not going back to all this materialism. I'm not going back there. It's just one of those curses. So we need to just look into our lives and say, what am I doing today That is how we are going to take Africa to the next level. What am I doing today? What is the decision that I'm doing today? Am I producing the children that will come out of indoctrination? You know, I can't let my kids go to school for so many years to be a doctor, and now they are like, oh, CDC says, who says? I'm not saying don't listen to CDC or but we all know those fraudsters. They are always manipulating data. So I need my kids to think out of the box. I need my kids to be able to add up and say, okay, I think this is what is really going on. I don't want them to follow blindly. I promise that this was not going to be long. So let me end here. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to support my channel so that I can go far and influence more people for Africa's sake. We can do this. We can do this. It has started, guys. It has started.